Hi, I'm Mirza Maliha, and this is my maze project. As you can see, it's titled Peach Saves Mario. To start, we'll take a look at my pseudocode. Now, this pseudocode is different from the first one. This is because I misinterpreted the assignment at the beginning of this project. This new pseudocode takes into account the two different user-defined functions I added into the code. It also shows that there is a text file that is being opened and closed for this project. Okay, let's start analyzing this pseudocode. As you can see at the beginning of this pseudocode, it says that for the code we have to assign a couple of array variables. They have to be global variables. As you can see, we need 4 different global variables. The first one we need is an array variable to input all the data from the text file into the script. This variable would have 120 rows and 22 columns. The second one we need is an array variable that will print the final path for Peach. This array will have 20 rows and 22 columns. Another array variable that we will need is to define the specific maze the user wishes to solve. And then lastly, we need a variable that is user-defined. This variable signifies the maze that the user wants to solve. As you can see in this first part of the script, we assign the 4 global variables. The points array is for the input information from the text file. The path array is to show the final path Peach can take. The num variable is the user-defined variable that tells the code which maze to use, and the maze array stores a specific maze. Now, back to the pseudocode. After assigning all of these variables, we will get into the main function of the script. This is when we open the text file so the code can read the information on the file. But before we open the file, we have to define the text file and its location. In the script, the file is defined at the top after the user-defined functions, and in the main body, the fopen function is being used to open the file, and it is in mode R, which is for reading. While the file is open, the code will scan the information into the 120 by 20 array into the C script, so we are able to use this information later. After the file is done reading and scanning the information, the code will close the file. As can be seen in the script, after the file is opened, a for loop is used to go through each element of the text file. The elements are then scanned into the points array using the fscanf function. After the loop reaches the end of the text file, the code tries to close the text file using the fclose function. The code will then prompt the user about which maze they would like to solve. The code will use this input as the argument for the first user-defined function. This user-defined function assigns a smaller 20 by 22 array to the component of the 120 by 22 array that has the information for the specific maze that was chosen by the user. In line 40 of the code, you can see the code is prompting the user which maze he or she would like to do. The input is then assigned to the variable num using the scanf function. And here is the user-defined function, mazes. It takes the num value as the argument, and as it can be seen, 2 for loops is used to go through the points array, and the elements are put into the maze array. Using if statements, the maze array is different depending on the value of num, which represents the different mazes. After the maze is decided, the code will then go through another user-defined function. In this function, the code will determine the path that Peach will take to reach Mario, using if statements. So, if the element is equal to 0, then it is safe to go that way. In the code, you can see the user-defined function getMario. The user-defined function goes through a series of if statements to determine if the next element is safe, and if Peach should go up, down, left, or right. If the element is safe to pass, the value 1 is scanned onto the path array. Otherwise, the value 0 is scanned onto the path array. In the main function, after the code goes through the user-defined functions, the code will then print out the array that shows the possible paths Peach can take to save Mario. Afterwards, the code will stop. As you can see in the script, right before the main function ends, there are two for loops and a printf function to print out the path array, which shows the path that can be taken by Peach. Here is the output of the code. It displays the user input that specifies which maze to solve. It also displays the entrance and exit cells of the maze. And it displays an array with the final path Peach could take to save Mario, where the 1s represent the path and the 0s represent the spaces that cannot be taken. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.